I've been lying for the past 8 years or 4 years or 5 years ever since I read this book. But hi everyone, it's Sam. That was a weird hand gesture. Today I'm gonna go through my favorite books that I've read in my 20s. I've only recently started genuinely enjoying contemporary books, and most of them are like young adult books. I wish I had actual books to show you with actual covers, but at the same time, I don't really read books physically anymore because I like bringing my books with me and I really don't like having a heavy bag. I just read my books on my iPad. By the way, these books aren't ordered. I feel like they all tell really different stories and they all have their pros and cons. Although there are some books that I like a lot more than the rest. Let's start with the quirkiest, I feel like, out of them all, which is I See London, I See France, I See London by Sarah Mlynowski. I really don't like going into books knowing a lot about the plot. I'm really good at trying to figure out what's gonna happen next, and I don't want to ruin it for myself, so I try to limit my knowledge about a book. So I See London, I See France is about two best friends who are traveling to Europe together, and that's basically all I remember about the plot. It was a fun read. It got me out of my reading slump. I finished it in like a day and a half. So if you're looking for something fun but not too deep and also an easy read, I would highly recommend this book. It's just a typical romantic kind of book that will make you want to go outside and explore the world. It's not that deep. I just really like the setting of the book. The next book on my list is It Ends With Us by Colleen Hoover. I absolutely love this book. This book touched my heart in so many ways. I don't want to go into it too much. I don't want to spoil anything. Everyone just really needs to read this book to know about the complications of being in a relationship, the complications about love. Trigger warning / spoiler, this book does talk about physical abuse. Colleen Hoover wrote this book in a way that really made me feel for the character, and it made me understand her choices and her feelings. Throughout the book, you do understand why people make the choices they make. This book is like up there. Next book is In 5 Years by Rebecca Serle. This isn't really a romance novel, or it kind of is, but that isn't the point of the story. It was very one-dimensional in my opinion. Didn't really feel like that was a problem to me because at the end of the day, this book is about the relationships between characters and not about the characters themselves. And I feel like the way the lives of the characters were intertwined with one another was more important than their character development, really. This book is about a woman who goes to sleep and then she wakes up in the future 5 years from the day she fell asleep. So she wakes up 5 years later and she sees that everything is different, and she wakes up again on the day she fell asleep. I'm really bad at explaining things. This book is about friendship and the future and worrying about things. Everything a 20-year-old does. But the next book I have is Delirium. It's a dystopian series. There are 2 other books in the series. When I was making this list, I was kind of surprised that I thought of it because although I didn't really like it very much, I really liked the idea of it. I read this, I think, like 6-7 years ago. I read this when like Divergent was really popular and The Hunger Games was really popular. I think they made a movie out of it with Emma Roberts. It wasn't really great. Basically, the plot is about this dystopian world. Love is basically an illegal thing. So showing affection, loving someone, it's a crime. In the book, I remember there were actually a lot of legit reasons why love is, or like loving someone or being affectionate, why that is banned. You know, to me, it made sense. Especially as a 20-year-old now, the book makes a lot more sense. It had very legit explanations about why love should be banned. So next is To Kill a Mockingbird by Harper. I've been lying for the past 8 years or 4 years or 5 years ever since I read this book. I had to read this book for a book review assignment for school. I started reading this book a day and a half or like 2 days before the assignment was due. I ended up really liking it, but I had to rush myself. I ended up not reading the book. I actually stopped reading the book when I was like 3/4 in, so I never really got to read the ending. I just had to like Wikipedia it. And I feel like I probably should reread this book and see what I think about it now, because before that, obviously, I was an uneducated girl reading. I got a really good grade for it as well. I added it to this list because it's such a classic. Yeah, I'll have to reread it. I can't even tell you the plot. This video is so bad, I just realized. I'm not telling you guys anything. I'm just feeding you my opinions. The next book is The Hating Game by Sally Thorne. This is such a juicy romance novel. The writing isn't really that deep or poetic, but I remember thoroughly enjoying this book. I'm trash for Joshua Templeman. Have Me, Take Me. I feel like you can kind of compare it to I See London, I See France. It's just a lot more romantic and maybe a bit more mature than I See London, I See France. At the time, I wasn't really looking for anything too deep. I just wanted like a quirky romance novel to read. If you want that as well, I would definitely recommend you to read this book. The last book I have on my list is the one I've most recently read, which is The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. It's written by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I love this book. Oof. The amount of important topics that is discussed in this book is, I'm literally just like this book is what I've been looking for my whole life. But not really, because there are a lot of other books that I also really love. This book is about a movie star who was very famous around the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s. She had that Marilyn Monroe kind of vibe. Basically, she's this very beautiful actress, and she's reflecting on her time in Hollywood and how she got super famous. She's had 7 husbands, as the title suggests. She is basically talking about her relationships with those men, how she rose to fame, why she married them. So this might be kind of a spoiler, or it might not be, or it might be. I don't know. I don't want to reveal too much, but it also tackles sexuality. That this book really does represent multiple issues that is present in today's society, and which is why I feel like I've learned a lot of like life lessons whilst reading this book. I absolutely love this book. The writing style is simple but very well written. You understand the complexities and the feelings the characters have and the difficulties they go through. There was a very quotable writing style. I feel like this is literally one of my favorite books I've ever read. I can't recommend this book enough. I absolutely love it. That's all I have for you for now. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you want more of these kind of like book kind of videos, let me know. But yeah, for now I'm gonna head out and I'll see you in the next video.